December 2001, Tora Bora Caves, Afghanistan. Osama bin Laden is surrounded. American forces are just kilometers away. Victory seems certain, but one decision, one mistake, would cost the world an entire decade of searching. This is the story of the longest manhunt in modern history, a story of strategic errors, complex intelligence work, and high-risk political decisions. From the caves of Afghanistan to a quiet compound in Pakistan. How did the hunt end? And why did it take so long? Chapter 1: The Mistake That Cost a Decade. Let's start from the real beginning. December 2001, just 3 months after the September attacks, Osama bin Laden was trapped in the rugged Tora Bora mountains on the Afghan-Pakistani border. American forces were very close. The aerial bombardment was intense. But here's where the first strategic mistake happened. America relied on local Afghan warlords instead of sending sufficient American ground troops. Why? For complex political and military reasons. The desire to avoid the bad optics of a foreign occupation. Overconfidence in local allies. Underestimating bin Laden's ability to escape. The result? The Afghan warlords left deliberate gaps. Some had ties to the Taliban. And in one night, bin Laden disappeared. He crossed the border into Pakistan along with several of his fighters, and one of the longest manhunts in history began. Chapter 2: A Decade of Darkness. The question that baffled American intelligence for years: how does the most famous man in the world disappear completely? Bin Laden wasn't a tech genius, but he was extremely smart at understanding his enemy's weaknesses. First, he cut all electronic communications. No phones whatsoever, no internet, no email. Even his messages were written on a computer with no internet connection, saved to USB drives, then physically transported by a trusted courier. Second, he minimized movement. Reports indicate he stayed in the same location for years without leaving the compound. Third, he used an extremely limited trust network. Only a very small number of people knew his real location. These measures made the CIA's mission nearly impossible. All modern espionage techniques, satellite surveillance, call interception, internet tracking, became useless. But there was one weak point, one man moving between bin Laden and the outside world. His codename? Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti. And here the CIA began the largest human tracking operation in its history. Chapter 3: The First Thread: Chasing the Courier. 2007. After 6 years of continuous failure, the CIA obtained information from a former Guantanamo detainee. Under interrogation, the detainee mentioned a name: Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti. He said he was bin Laden's personal courier. But the problem? No one knew his real identity. No photos, no precise information, just a code name. It took another 4 years to identify his real identity. How? By connecting thousands of small pieces of information. Old phone calls, minor financial transactions, testimonies from other detainees, even analyzing his dialect in an old audio recording. In 2010, they finally succeeded. They discovered his real name and began tracking his mobile phone. And for the first time in years, they had a real lead. They tracked him from Peshawar to Islamabad, then to a small town called Abbottabad. And there, in August 2010, they noticed something strange. A massive compound surrounded by high walls in a quiet military neighborhood. The compound was worth $1 million, but it had no phone line, no internet connection. The upper windows were permanently covered with curtains. Trash was burned inside the compound instead of being placed outside. Its residents never mixed with neighbors. All of this raised suspicion. Could it be possible that bin Laden was living hidden in a Pakistani military town, just kilometers from a major military academy? The CIA began 24/7 surveillance of the compound from satellites. For months, they observed a tall man walking in the courtyard daily, but they never saw his face. They gave him an internal nickname, the Pacer. Was this bin Laden? They weren't 100% sure, but all indicators pointed to one possibility.
Part 2. The night raid that changed history.